Hello, today I'm going to read to you the rest of the story, Mr. Gum and the Biscuit Billionaire. And I'm going to start with chapter 10, which is called The Spirit of the Rainbow. All of a sudden, Mr. Gum and Billy Williams started straining at their ropes and trying to escape. Their faces were pale with fright. It's him, stuttered Mr. Gum, pointing to a great haystack he could have sworn hadn't been there a moment earlier. A little boy with big ears was climbing out of it, laughing with delight, and as he approached, the last of the clouds seemed to disappear from the sky. And now a lovely warm feeling came over Polly, as if someone was baking lasagna in her veins. She felt all the wrongs of the world would be righted, and all the rights of the world would carry on being right, and perhaps become even more right somehow. She looked at Alan Taylor and Friday and saw that they felt it too. "Spirit of the rainbow!" she laughed, clapping her hands. "Can it really be you?" "Yes, child," he said, though he was no older than she. "You and your friends have done well and learned lessons. Once more the world is glowing with happy, happy colours." Sir, we have never met before," said Alan Taylor with a respectful bow. "Yet you seem familiar, as if I've seen you in brief moments of happiness." "It may be so," replied the Spirit of the Rainbow with his honest mouth, "for whenever a baby dribbles with joy, I am there. Whenever a cat jumps into a cardboard box and makes everyone laugh, I am there. Whenever someone blows a bubble and it rises on the wind and doesn't pop for ages, I am there. And now, old man," he said, turning to Friday, "look around this cliff top, for I believe there are plants of healing to be found, which will ease your wounded legs." Looking around, Friday saw a clump of enormous green dock leaves, which he could have sworn weren't there a moment earlier. He rubbed them on his legs, and instantly the angry white blisters were gone, and his legs were better than ever, and not so hairy. Then the Spirit of the Rainbow turned to address the robbers. "Robbers," he began, "when will you realize that the world is a place of harmony and getting along with people? For your greed has undone you, and now—" "Spirit!" called a voice from over the hills. "Spirit, come on, or we'll be late." "Oops," said the Spirit of the Rainbow, looking at his watch. "I've got to go, or my mum will kill me. We're visiting my aunt." And he chucked them a handful of fruit chews, and off he ran. It was a long, long walk back to Lamonic Bibber, but it was a happy one. Friday got out his favourite flute and played a march called The Captain of the Ants, and Alan Taylor surprised everyone by pointing out features of the landscape and teaching them all about the natural world as they went. "See that?" he said, pointing to a rock. "That is a rock. And those colourful things over there, yes, they're known as flowers." "Why, you're a changed man," said Friday in wonder. "Well, yes, I love learning and education," said Alan Taylor. "All that money made me forget how much I really have to offer to the world. But here's the thing. In all the fun and learning, Mr. Gum and Billy William were forgotten, and they managed to escape by sawing through the ropes with their sharp fingernails. "Let's get out of here, Caterpillar Joe," whispered Mr. Gum, and off they tiptoed in their hobnail boots. And where they went, nobody knows. Nobody but the wind. The last chapter in this book, chapter 11, is called The Festival of the Leaves. It was nearly sunset when the heroes finally reached the Monnick Bibber once more. "Look," said Polly happily. All the good people of the town were out on the streets, rejoicing and waving flags and playing kiss chase, and the town square was full of long wooden benches laden with food. There seems to be a feast going on," said Alan Taylor. "Not just any feast," remarked Friday. "Today must be the first day of autumn. It's the Festival of the Leaves." "Oh, I forgot all about the Festival of the Leaves," said Polly. "I loves it so." "It's true," announced the warm voice of David Casserole, the town mayor. "Look, the first leaf fell today. Who shall be the year's King of Autumn?" he challenged, holding up the little golden leaf. "The Biscuit Billionaire! The Biscuit Billionaire!" responded the crowd. "The Biscuit Billionaire! Now that he's got his money back, we can have fun fairs again. Hooray!" "No," said Alan Taylor, climbing onto Friday's head for more speech action. "I'm no longer a rich man," he told the crowd. "But if you can find it in your hearts to love me for who I am, I will turn my mansion into a school called St. Pterodactyl's School for the Poor, and I will teach all the poor children and orphans about education and learning, and no one will tease anyone there or call each other bad names," he added firmly. "Fair enough," shouted the crowd. "You are truly our King of Autumn," boomed David Casserole, pinning the leaf onto Alan Taylor's chest, whilst pretty ladies crowned him with acorns and conkers. And Alan Taylor grinned happily as he led the townsfolk in a merry jig, for finally he had been accepted. Well, there wasn't much to say after all that. It was time for feasts and rejoicing. Friday played the piano and stood in the town square, and old Granny fell over from too much sherry, and everyone saw the weird veins in her old legs. And Jonathan Ripples found a red notebook lying on the ground. He turned to the front page and read, "That Fatty Ripples thinks he's so clever, but I'll have the last laugh." He frowned, chewing on a roast ox leg. "I recognise this handwriting." He found Martin Launderette cowering behind a lamp-post and took him to one side. "Martin," he said, holding up the notebook, "this isn't very nice." "I know," said Martin Launderette with a sigh. "I'm totally ashamed of myself." "I'm afraid I'm going to have to sit on you now to teach you a lesson," said Jonathan Ripples sadly. "This is going to hurt me more than it will hurt you." But how wrong can you be? It didn't hurt Jonathan Ripples one bit. By midnight, the partying and feasting were dying down, and the stars hung friendly in the sky. Polly sat with her companions in the shadowy square, tired but happy. Jake was licking up spilt ox gravy. Alan Taylor lay contentedly in a heap of leaves, and Friday was strumming quietly on a blue guitar. As he strummed, someone appeared at the far end of the town square. It was Mrs. Lovely, who ran the sweet shop, and not only that, she was Friday's wife too. "Mrs. Lovely!" cried Friday, and dropping his guitar, he swept her up in his lovey-dovey arms, and everyone went, "Ah!" "Mrs. Lovely, where have you been all this time?" asked Polly. "Away in the mountains, gathering secret herbs for my sweets," she trilled. "Did I miss anything?" And a shooting star shot by like a cornflake falling out of God's breakfast, and the man in the moon tried to eat it, but he missed. and the heroic friends sat in the old town square, wondering what adventures they'd have next. And Friday stuck a breadstick up his nose to impress everyone, and it broke off, and the crumbs went down his throat, and it made him cough a little bit. And then, just when he thought he couldn't possibly be any happier, Alan Taylor gasped in astonishment. "For I'm no longer made of gingerbread," he thought. "At last I'm a real man." Oh. And then he took a closer look at himself and realized he'd made a mistake. "Oh," he sighed, "I'm still a gingerbread man with electric muscles, after all. Well, never mind. Everything else worked out just okay." The end. I hope you enjoyed this story. Thank you so much for listening. Tune in next time for my next book. See you soon. Bye.